today is the day. Black Sabbath's final show today, Villa Park, Birmingham, England. Where they hail from, or where they were from. But Ozzy's moved back to England and is living on a farm, so I think all of them are back there. Anyways, big moment, right? Before we begin chopping it up about different things about the band, let's go to this package that I put together of some cool newsworthy moments, we'll call it.
We're talking with the one and only Ozzy Osbourne. Good evening, Ozzy.
What?
Good evening, Ozzy.
Hello there.
How are you?
Fine.
You were joking when you said that, of course.
Yeah, right.
So I just tend to go in and just sort of jam really with it.
Have you always thought of yourself just as a heavy metal player, or are you a guitar player that...
I'm just a guitar player. I don't class heavy metal as any, I don't know where that term come from really as far as heavy metal is concerned.
And he said, this isn't music, it just sounds like a load of old heavy metal. I think it was a bit of an insult at first, but then it just stuck.
Okay, so he invented a genre, had the greatest second act comeback in rock history, then what? How about No More Tears in 1991?
It's the people's music, it always has been. I think we it's a chord inside everybody. Every single Sabbath fan that I've ever met is exactly like me. You can see him, you can spot him. If we didn't know where the gig was, we just followed somebody. You can spot him a mile away. The Sabbath fan, you can spot him a mile away. Except the ones that work in offices, then they have to take their shirts off and then you can see they're a Sabbath fan.
So playing today at this big show is obviously Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. But before they even get on stage, which I've seen the show times or whatever, and we'll get into that here in just a second. But you're going to get two supergroups, which is going to be a mix of a ton of people. But you're also getting the bands Mastodon, Anthrax, Lamb of God, Alice in Chains, Hailstorm, Gojira, Pantera, Slayer, Metallica, and Guns N' Roses is slated to play today as well. So that being said, additional performances from Billy Corrigan, David Draymond, Duff McKagan, Fred Durst, Lizzie Hale, Jake Ely, Jonathan Davis, KK Downing, Mike Borden, Papa V Perpetua from Ghost, Rudy Sarzo, Sammy Hagar, Slash, Sleep Token 2, and Tom Morello and Wolfgang Van Halen. Oh, and Tool's going to be there. Like, what? This is huge. It's a big day. Now, looking at the set list, Sabbath themselves is only playing for 35 minutes. But imagine all the different things we're going to get out of this. Zakk Wylde is there, so Zach's going to get an opportunity to play with Ozzy again. He's going to be playing with Pantera. There's going to be some dudes that are really busy. And there are a lot of metal guys, like band members, that are there that, who knows, we might get dudes getting the opportunity to be on stage to be a part of this as well. This is a huge moment, and I think it definitely needs to be celebrated. And we also have to remember, these dudes have been playing for 50 years. These are no spring chickens. And I'm in my 30s, and if I stand at a concert and enjoy the show, I have to sit down because my lower back is hurting so bad by the end of the night that it hurts to walk. So can you imagine being, almost 70 or 70 and having that same issue, or even a little older? So I definitely think we need to keep that in mind. But tickets for this have been on sale since February 14th. And these guys, absolutely amazing. Plain and simple. I've always said, and I will continue to say, not always, we'll get into that here in a minute, but since becoming a fan, I have been a fan of the Dio version of Sabbath better than Ozzy's version of Sabbath. And it's nothing against Ozzy. We'll get into that here in just a minute. But I want to talk about the album list of, the list of albums that they have put out over the years. In 70, you have Black Sabbath. In 70, you have Paranoid. In 71, you have Master of Reality. 72, Black Sabbath Volume 4. 73, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. 75, Sabotage. 76, Technical Ecstasy. 78, Never Say Die. 80, Heaven and Hell, which is, I believe, the first album. It's the first one I remember with Dio. 79, so... yes. Ronnie James Dio is the Heaven and Hell is the first one with Ronnie James Dio. 81, Mob Rules. 83, Born Again. 86, Seventh Star. Which is interesting because on the cover it says featuring Tommy Iommi. 87, Eternal Idol. 89, Headless Cross. 90, Tear. 92, Dehumanizer. 94, Cross Purposes. 2013 is the album 13. And then 2024, we had Forbidden, which is a remix. This is just huge. I don't know what happened there, and then we have countless live, or I shouldn't say countless. We have 3 live albums, including Reunion in 2023, 2017, The End, which we thought was the finish, which they did in Birmingham then too, and then 82 Live Evil. Singles and EPs, we have Paranoid in 98, The Devil Cried in 2007, basically an NIB live, War Pigs live, Headless Cross and Anno Mundi in 2024, Evil Eye and Get a Grip in 2024. Huge, right? Amazing career, deserving to be honored by all of us, because these guys are the metal's Beatles. These guys were inspired by the Beatles, and they came along at the right time. Basically, if not definitely, led the second British invasion. No offense to the Rolling Stones, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe the Rolling Stones did lead it, but you couldn't have a British invasion again without Sabbath. And they did it on such a huge scale that, I mean, without them, we don't have bands that we have today that we absolutely love. Because they shaped so many people. They shaped Motorhead, they shaped Iron Maiden, how those bands came to be and are what they are, which, I mean, Iron Maiden's a huge one in itself. They're my favorite band. There's people, Motorhead's theirs. But it all started with Sabbath. You could even say, Led Zeppelin was a huge metal influence, and they definitely were. But, like, Sabbath is it, and we get Ozfest from that, which was one of the best touring concerts at the time. For metalheads, like, all those bands, for the ticket price you used to be able to pay to see them, it was such a big ordeal. We have gotten so many big things because of this band. We owe them a lot. And, what's really cool is Judas Priest did an amazing cover recently of War Pigs and dropped it this week. And that is super, super special. And I definitely think that we need to keep that, honor that is what I'm trying to say. I was trying to get ready to transition and I messed myself up. These guys, just a bunch of kids from Birmingham, England. Tommy, or not Tommy, I was reading Tommy's name. Ozzy, a young punk kid. Crime was looking to be his life, but then he heard, I think it was Sgt. Pepper's Lone Hearts Band, or maybe that was the album that the song was on. But he heard a Beatles song and was like, that's what I want to do. And then we get this amazing band. And this is what Wikipedia has to say. Black Sabbath are an English rock band formed in Birmingham in 1968 by guitarist Tommy Iommi, drummer Bill Ward, bassist Geezer Butler, vocalist Ozzy Osbourne. After adopting the Black Sabbath name in '69, the band were previously named Earth, and before that the Polka Tulk Blues Band. So they went through some remodeling before they became Black Sabbath. They distinguished themselves through occult themes with horror-inspired lyrics and down-tuned guitars. The first 3 albums, Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Master of Reality, were commercially successful and are now cited as pioneering albums in the development of heavy metal music. Subsequent albums, Volume 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Sabotage, Technical Ecstasy, and Never Say Die, saw the band explore more experimental and progressive styles. They were on labels Fontana, Vertigo, Mercury, Virgin EMI, Universal, Warner Brothers, IRS, and Sanctuary. Spin-offs, they have Dio and Heaven and Hell. Spin-off of Mythology, Rare Breed. Members, Tony Iommi, Bill Ward, Geezer Butler, Ozzy Osbourne. I wanted to look at sales. We already know that he was fired in '79, he being Ozzy. Dio recorded 3 albums, which were Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, Live Evil. Ian Gillan from Deep Purple was on Born Again in '83. '84, it was Ward, Gillian, and Butler all departing from the band, leaving Tony Iommi by himself to form a new version of Black Sabbath. And so for the next 13 years, the band endured many personal changes that included vocalist Glenn Hughes, which was another one from Deep Purple. Tony Martin was another former member. And like it just goes through a huge list of people. But okay, Mob Rules lineup reunited, and that was Heaven and Hell. Okay. Black Sabbath have sold over 70 million records as of 2013, making them one of the most commercially successful heavy metal bands. The band have been referred to as being part of the unholy trinity of British hard rock and heavy metal in the early to mid-70s, along with Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin. I always forget about Deep Purple, in all honesty. Like, they're a good band. They're not one of my favorites, but whenever I think of heavy metal from Britain, I think of Led Zeppelin and I think of Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath was ranked by MTV as the greatest metal band of all time, placed second on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Hard Rock. Rolling Stone magazine ranked them 85 on its 100 Greatest Artists of All Time. They were inducted in the UK Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. They've won 2 Grammys for Best Metal Performance and received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. All deserving. Let's see. We already kind of covered the history, band members. There's the discography, tours. That's cool. So if we wanted to talk tours, you have the Polka Tulk Blues / Earth Tour for 68 to 69, Sabbath Tour, Black Sabbath Tour in 70, Paranoid Tour in 70 to 71, Master of Reality Tour 71 to 72, Volume 4 Tour 72 to 73, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath Tour 73 to 74, Sabotage Tour 75 to 76, Technical Ecstasy Tour 76 to 77, Never Say Die Tour 78, Heaven and Hell Tour 80 to 81, Mob Rules Tour 81 to 82, Born Again Tour 83, Seventh Star Tour 86, Eternal Idol Tour 87, Headless Cross Tour 89, Tear Tour 90, Dehumanizer Tour 92, Cross Purposes Tour 94, Forbidden Tour 95, Ozfest Tour 97, European Tour 98, Reunion Tour 98 to 99, Ozfest Tour 99, US Tour 99, European Tour 99, Ozfest Tour 01, Ozfest Tour 04, European Tour 05, Ozfest Tour 05, Black Sabbath Tour 2012 to 2014, In Tour 2016 to 2017, and of course, Villa Park, Birmingham, England, 2025. One more show. Just huge. 70 million records. And how many times, like, how often do you stream Black Sabbath? I don't stream Sabbath enough. I already tell you that. They are absolutely amazing, though. Even though Dio is one of my favorites, obviously Heaven and Hell is one of my favorite songs by the band, period. You can't forget the amazing songs that they put out with Ozzy, because they had so many albums with Ozzy. They only had 3 with Dio, and Ozzy's the first, right? So because of that, think about, like, just what amazing bodies of works we have there. So you have War Pigs, you have Paranoid, you have I need the list in front of me because I'm losing my mind. Sweet Leaf, Electric Funeral, The Wizard, Planet Caravan. How amazing is Planet Caravan, by the way? Love the Pantera cover. Kind of hope Pantera plays their cover. Children of the Grave, Black Sabbath, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. These are the names of songs, too. I'm not just repeating the names of the albums. Changes. Yeah, okay. I was like, wait a minute, what did that mean? So, Snowblind, Into the Void, Hand of Doom, Neon Nights, Symptom of the Universe. Just absolutely amazing songs. I want to see if we can get to, like, get... Yep, okay. Okay, so that one doesn't show. I'm looking for, okay. Empiricon published an article that says this is the possible set list. So looking back from the last known set list, which was 2017, this is what they played in 2017. 1. Black Sabbath. 2. Fairies Wear Boots. 3. Under the Sun, Every Day Comes and Goes. 4. After Forever. 5. Into the Void. 6. Snowblind. 7. War Pigs. 8. Behind the Wall of Sleep. 9. NIB. 10. Hand of Doom. 11. Supernaut. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Megalomania. That's medley. 12. Rat Salad. 13. Iron Man. 14. Dirty Women. 15. Children of the Grave. Encore being Paranoid, as it should be. Although, like, Paranoid needs to be the encore, plain and simple. So what can we expect being the set list? Remember, got to keep it short. But we're going to go ahead and read this whole little section here from them, because there is some information that I haven't been able to keep up with just because of a busy schedule. For the upcoming concert on July 5th, 2025, we can expect a similar structure. The concert title itself suggests a nostalgic return to their roots. Likely a set focused on the years 69 to 73. According to recent reports, Ozzy Osbourne will remain seated for much of the performance due to health reasons. So the show may be shorter and less physically demanding, while still including all the essential classics. Ozzy has also stated in advance he will only be singing around 5 of his own songs for health reasons. So this won't be a full Black Sabbath set. Full Black Sabbath show in traditional sense. The event is expected to feature a mix of Sabbath tracks and solo material from Ozzy's career. The set list indicates that. These other people that are going to be stepping in to sing these songs. So while Tony and Geezer and Bill can go, Ozzy cannot. So think about what we could get from that. Imagine Jonathan Davis, and of course, like supergroups, the supergroups will be performing covers for sure. But imagine Jonathan Davis up there singing with Sabbath behind him. Imagine like a cover of the I don't know if I really want to say it just because of like the name of it, but A-Trazer, that is like that version where it's Ozzy and my brain why did I almost say Geddy Lee? That's definitely not right. Lemmy. Sorry, my brain is not where it should be. So imagine that, but with Randy Bly doing his amazing screams. It'd be awesome, right? So we could get some things like that, but then also imagine these tracks being part of the set. Black Sabbath, Fairies Wear Boots, Into the Void, Snowblind, War Pigs, NIB, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, and obviously Paranoid. They predict from Ozzy's solo catalog possible songs being Crazy Train, No More Tears, Mr. Crowley, Bark at the Moon, and Mama, I'm Coming Home. I think Mama, I'm Coming Home has to be the last one that Ozzy does for his solo stuff. Now, one thing I want to also have you keep in mind is in recent interviews, Ozzy has stated he thinks he might die during this set. That is one historical moment that I hope doesn't happen. This is going to be history to begin with, but I do not want Ozzy's death to be on stage. While that seems metal, and maybe even the way he wants to go, because I haven't actually had the opportunity to listen to the sound bites. I've only read like the little bit of him expecting to die on stage. I just don't want it to end that way for him. I don't know. Maybe more peaceful is, I guess, what I'm hoping for. I would hope for peaceful and not violent, horrible deaths for everybody. But obviously we can't get that. So that being said, there are things to consider. But Mama, I'm Coming Home would be a beautiful way to close the door on the Ozzy solo catalog. Big day. And we've chopped it up about it for like 20-ish minutes. I think we pretty well covered everything. Nobody wanted to contribute, even though I put it out there, which is fine. People have busy lives. I get it. So we will discuss a little bit further some stuff me related to it, and then we'll close it out. So we have a young boy, 13, I want to say I was, buys a game from a used game shop called Slackers in O'Fallon, Missouri. Gets home, puts this PS2 game into his PlayStation 2, and that game is Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2. And he begins to play the first level, and the first song to come on is none other than Paranoid by Black Sabbath. What a huge, happy, crazy moment for me to, like, first of all, loved BMX, so I was elated by that, but then that was my first introduction to like that style of metal was Dio, not Sabbath, but to hear that golden sound of that amazing riff at the beginning. You know, I am not musically talented, so yeah. But we get like that was it, man. Like, I was hooked. And so then things were different back then, so mainly what I listened to was the hits, because that's what ended up on MP3 players and stuff when everything was starting, and songs cost money if you didn't have LimeWire. I didn't necessarily know how to use LimeWire, so I basically gave people lists of songs that I wanted to get. You knew what you knew. You knew it was on the radio if you weren't buying full albums. And so that was my experience. And it was still a good one. And I remember Iron Head by Ozzy and Rob Zombie being one that I listened to often. And of course, everybody remembers All Aboard, you know, for Crazy Train. All Aboard! You heard it earlier at the beginning of the package that I put together. And then my 5 favorite songs. I say Dio is my favorite or whatever. It's because I like the sound of his voice and so on. But if I were picking 5 singular songs, this is what I would pick. Number 5. I gotta count them out. And don't want to forget anything either, just because this is like so big. Okay, so we're gonna go Children of the Grave. Then we're gonna go War Pigs. Then we're gonna go Iron Man. Paranoid, Heaven and Hell. Yes, most of those are with Ozzy as the lead singer. I get it. But that's 5 singular songs. Die Young. Duh. Changing out Children of the Grave for Die Young. I forgot that wasn't a Dio song. So, yeah. Never got to see them live. Really wanted to go to England for this, but obviously that didn't happen. But I really wanted to do this to show my love and give anybody else an opportunity to do the same, and have it be out there in the internets for all time. Not that I expect Black Sabbath or Ozzy to hear this, but from a fan that became a fan in his teens, like many of my age, thank you for the music that helped get through tough times, that did not encourage suicide. They did not. And we could have gotten into all that, but we're not going to. Also, Ozzy hates the whole Bat story, by the way. If you don't remember from the Ozzy 50th anniversary episode last year. Thank you for the showmanship, the memories, the songs, the influence, all of it. Without you guys, we would not be where we are as a metal community. Thank you.